welcome to News Around the Globe. Brought to you in Technicolor, my name is Tom Armstrong.
And I am Wally Kronkelberger, and here are tonight's top stories from around the globe. Of course, as we all know, the war in Europe is still going strong. Thousands upon thousands of American soldiers are being sent overseas to fight the German menace.
Blah, blah, blah.
I think this is a little ridiculous. I think it's a little ridiculous, Tom. I think it's about time this war ended, and I think it's about time we all got together and talked about our differences and maybe get the nations to unite. You could possibly make some kind of organization out of it. United Nations. Sounds good to me.
Has a catchy name, Wally, but I'm not sure. I think that's kind of like the pansy way out.
Well, that's what I would do, but what do I know?
Well, anyway, in other news, Adolf Hitler, the leader of the German Third Reich, is also a novelist. Is that how you say it?
I believe so.
All right, well, anyway, he wrote a novel. His novel is called Mein Kampf, and it translates to My Struggle. And let me tell you something, Wally. The title's fitting because I read the book and I had to struggle to stay awake. That's my little... I believe the book should actually be renamed My Completely Boring Book, Adolf Hitler. In national news, switching gears here for a second, Wally. Our favorite cartoon stars, Mopey the Frog, has been recently seen in his new cartoon selling war bonds. And let me tell you something, that little frog is one heck of a salesman because I bought 25 of them and I'm still not sure what they're good for. Certainly not for paying rent, because my apartment is about to foreclose.
Sounds like a personal problem there, Tom. I think maybe you should go down to the credit union and try to get yourself some money. Anyway, with all of our troops overseas, the women here in America, the good old US of A, have decided to chip in as well. They have all been shipped over to factories to work on making bombs, tanks, planes, and any other kind of ammunition that our soldiers overseas need. I, of course, think this is a really good idea because I'm too pretty to work in a factory. What can I do? I'm just a news anchor.
And I'm 35, and I'm certainly not going to be doing it, but I'm not sure if I would trust my wife working in one of those factories. Oof. I don't know if I could trust her making a bomb because she can't even present me with a decent pot roast.
That's very true, Tom. That's very true. Anyway, also in national news, President Roosevelt today. Roosevelt has been inaugurated into his third term of office. This is the only time in American history that an American president has served more than 2 consecutive terms.
Consecutive.
I didn't vote for him the first time, I didn't vote for him the second time, and nobody voted for him the third time. That's just the way it is. I think this is a little ridiculous, Tom. I think that this is something that should be left up to the American people to decide. But then again, who listens to me? Nobody cares. I'm just a news anchor. Tom?
Exactly. Who do we reach?
And also, Tom, I also have another story here. In local news, and there's a new theory out today. Did you hear about this, Tom? Did you hear about this? There's a new theory. Here in good old New Jersey, 17 scientists have recently discovered that there's a thing called global warming happening to this Earth. This means that over the course of years and years, the Earth is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter until eventually the entire globe is covered with water.
I don't see a problem with that theory, though. I kind of like the beach, living here in good old New Jersey. But in breaking news, I just got the report. All of those scientists you just mentioned were detained, tried, and found guilty of witchcraft, which means they will be burned at the stake later this week, which also makes us think, why are we going back to the 18th century? Anyway, in other local news, we have a top story, a breaking story. Wally Krockenschmuck is going through a horrible, gut-wrenching, painful divorce with his hideous wife. Wally, why don't you feed us in on this little endeavor of yours?
I didn't think you were going to bring this up today, Tom.
Well, we're on live national television, so speak into the mic and make sure we can all hear you.
Well, there's nothing really much to say. I mean, she moved out, said she was going to live with her mother. I told her to try the zoo, but if she could get in, because of course I'm afraid they're going to kick her out for being a danger to the other animals. That's just me, though, Tom. Get this mic out of my face. Thank you.
So that means Mrs. Cracker Barrel is on the prowl. If you see her, call animal control. She is hungry and needs to feed. Also, our broadcast today is brought to us by our sponsor, Sparkle Cola. It's like a party in your mouth every time you open a can. Drink it. It's delicious and not the least bit unhealthy for you.
Very true, Tom. Anyway, reporting live, I'm Wally Kronkelberger. Kronkelberger.
Right, and I'm Tom Armstrong. Have a good night, nation.
We'll see you next time.